Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Market Watch. It's been a while. It's been about 2 weeks since the last Market Watch that we've had, so I wanted to make this Market Watch and catch us up on all of the juicy news, all of the juicy details that we have missed in the meantime. As it turns out, not too much. There's a few pieces of crucial information that came out this week, obviously approaching the BAKKT launch, information about that, but otherwise, it's been pretty decent so far. So the price action's been pretty good, I'd say. I was mentioning on the last Market Watch, which I do believe it was 2 weeks ago, that I was looking to buy around the $9,000 level, and we're right in that level. So I have my bags packed, and we're pretty much ready to go here. I am certainly bullish again in the midterm. To reiterate, bullish in the midterm. Don't really know about the short term. Short term is always difficult to guess. And obviously bullish in the long term. So for me, it's just been a lot of buying bags back at a lower price than I sold them at, which is certainly the prices that have been afforded to me. So certainly I've been happy about that. Bought some, and we've had a little bit of a pump since. We had a really nice day about 5 days ago. This was on the 3rd or the 2nd of September, actually. We had this super nice pump, and things are looking pretty decent right now. We are obviously making this. Again, I don't really do TA too much, but this is certainly the TA that everyone else is looking at. This super large triangle here. Let me straighten this up here. There's this really large triangle that's essentially being formed here. So obviously people are going to be selling here. People are going to be buying here. If you're looking for an entry, the 9,400 is probably around the place where you want to buy. If you are shorting, then again, you just barely missed your short opportunity by about a day or two. But certainly if you're interested in shorting, then around that area is where you are probably interested in doing a short. Me personally, again, I don't really do too much leverage at all. Sometimes I will do a 3x leverage long or short, but only when the market is trending. Right now the market is chop, and so it's a lot more difficult to make a trade and have it be meaningful, right? So you can trade it however you want to trade it, or you can buy and hold as what I'm doing. But certainly this is what I see on the chart and what mostly everyone else sees on the chart. So it will take some time before this resolves. So it'll either resolve to the upside, and once it does, we're looking at new highs. Essentially, we're looking at that 14K level, which is going to be. I believe I mentioned this 2 or 3 videos ago, but once we hit that 14K, I see us almost certainly smashing it and just continuing our crazy run here. And if we go down, then obviously we're looking at prices like $7,000, $8,000. If those prices hit, awesome. If they don't, it is what it is. So yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at as far as the news is concerned for Bitcoin. So here we have this. There's 2 crucial pieces of news that came out this week, so I wanted to go over them. So VanEck Solid F to offer Bitcoin ETF-like product to institutions. So this has been called a fake ETF, a quasi ETF. Essentially what this is they're offering the ETF, but only to institutional investors, whereas the ETF that we are familiar with is the ETF that is going to be offered to retail investors. Your average layman can get on this platform and purchase Bitcoin physically settled, which is awesome. Or no, that was for BAKKT. We will. There is some BAKKT news, and we'll get to that in a bit. But so the VanEck Solid X ETF was going to be for all customers, retail investors, whoever is interested, whoever can get on the platform. But what obviously there's been delays, there's been cancellations, rejections, and all of this nonsense. And so VanEck and SolidX have decided, you know what, we're going to offer this, but we're only going to offer this to institutional investors in the meantime, while we gear up and try to push this towards the full-fledged ETF that anyone can partake in. So right now, I don't really see this as being too huge of a news deal. Obviously, we're looking for institutional investors, but the question you always have to ask is, with respects to this, is who is actually going to pass the criteria? Who is going to pass as an institutional investor? Who is going to pass as this big money? So when I use institutional investors and I speak about that, I mainly mean people who have lots of money, so $5 million plus. That to me is I would say an institutional investor. Now that doesn't necessarily fit the term or the definition of an institutional investor, because that might mean, as far as an ETF is concerned or the SEC, it might not mean the amount of money you have necessarily, although I'm sure there's a minimum, but it means more, do you have a company? How is your company running things? Do you have a fund? All of these other things that are certainly interesting and bullish for Bitcoin if we can get these people on board, if we can get these entities that are to look at Bitcoin, but certainly not something that I think is really verifiable. We can't really measure it until it happens. So it's happening now. We'll see what it does for the future price of Bitcoin. Obviously, in the short term, Bitcoin has enjoyed a nice little pump there, but that remains to be seen if this is something that can actually be sustained. So time will tell for this one. The second piece of news, BAKKT is soft launching. So I will read a little bit of this aloud. So BAKKT warehouse custody opened yesterday as clients were able to deposit Bitcoin funds into the accounts. However, minutes after the tweet announcing the opening, the price of Bitcoin dropped by $700. A classic example of buying the rumor, selling the news. So yes, this happens a lot. Buying the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. People are very, very scarred from what happened with the CMEs. So the CMEs came out at 20K and it was just bearish ever since. So people are looking at the BAKKT thing, and in the short term, certainly it makes a lot of sense to sell, especially that when we're at this resistance level. There's a lot of reasons for people to be selling here. It's not necessarily just for BAKKT. I think people are looking for reasons, but really it has a lot more to do with the technicals in this case, whereas it's just a line here and people are going to sell. As simple as that. So yeah, BAKKT is soft launching, which is interesting. The details of it are a little bit less certain. We don't really know if people are able to trade just yet and all of this. But BAKKT, again, it's coming out in this month, so full 100%. So it will be in the next, probably in the next few days, I think, or in the next week or so, that BAKKT is going to launch fully, and people are going to be able to get their hands on those physically settled futures contracts, which is going to be pretty damn fun, pretty damn interesting to see where Bitcoin goes. Now, from this reaction, I have to say, now we have a little bit of data, and given all of what we know, the technicals, the recent price action with the BAKKT custody being live, it does lead me to believe that when BAKKT launches, it is probably going to be short-term bearish. Now, it sucks that I have to say that because I'm a buyer, I'm long. I do have spot Bitcoin, but I think certainly the down candle there, the down spike was pretty brutal. And so it makes me think that people are trying to front run this, doing that buy the rumor, sell the news bit. And so I think when BAKKT actually launches fully, we probably are going to get a lot more bearish action. And so we may even break that 9K level that has been held so far. And so if that happens, I think certainly 7K is on the table, 8K is on the table. So I wouldn't necessarily be leveraged long right now if I were you. Obviously, again, not financial advice, yada, yada. But I think being long here, at least not spot long or leveraged long, is a lot higher risk, especially now that we have a little bit of data on BAKKT's effects on the Bitcoin price. And we can see it was bearish. So certainly one of the things to watch out for. If I was a betting man, if I was leveraging, I would be looking probably into some kind of short position should the support break. And then we're looking at, again, 7K, 8K levels. But otherwise, I think really it's just another thing that time will tell. But certainly for leverage traders, probably not the best idea to be leveraged long. Again, I see this as someone who's long. So that's really the last bit of information this week that is large. We'll see in the next week or two what is actually going to occur. We'll have a lot more information with BAKKT. Again, this is basically the biggest news of the year as far as Bitcoin is concerned. So we really are keeping our eyes on this and really are interested to learn and know exactly what is going on, what is going to happen with BAKKT. So I wanted to talk about Chainlink. This is one of the altcoins that I've had. I don't hold many altcoins at all right now. I've liquidated most of them. I have a few here and there, but Chainlink is really the one that I had a larger position in. I bought around 19,000 sat, and I had to sell around 20,000. I had to liquidate it because I had some funds on Binance, and I had to do some OTC deal. So I had to sell my Chainlink. Fortunately for me, I got lucky, and I sold right as we started going down again. I think at this point, looking at the daily, it's pretty much confirmed at this point, guys. It's not going to be a bullish trend anymore. It's the bounce. We tried to have this bounce here, and it didn't happen. And now I think we're bouncing again here on this level. But this is the first time this level has been tested again in a while. So I think the bounce should be decent. But I think in general, I'm decently bearish on Chainlink now in the short term after seeing this red candle after red candle, or in this case, blue candle. Just down candle, down candle, down candle. It's very, very bearish when that happens. And very little volume, not very much interesting news or hype with Chainlink. They released something called Mixicles, which I haven't looked into yet, so I will look into that. But it's just even these kind of things that I've seen other people in the Chainlink community see as breakthroughs are not being simply respected by the price and by the chart. So I think there is a lot of bearish momentum hitting Chainlink for now. Obviously, great if you're a long-term buyer, which I am. I'm looking at Chainlink. I'm now lowering my targets. Maybe 15K starts to seem a lot more attractive as a buy zone. Maybe even 11K looks to be a very attractive buy zone. It's going to be around $1. If you can get $1 Chainlink, $1 per Chainlink, then you are sitting pretty. So if we can get those numbers, that would be great. Again, I personally am not the kind of trader who tries to time bottoms or anything. I just see if there's a good price for an asset, I'm willing to pay for it. So we are fast approaching a very, very good price for Chainlink. Fortunately I got out, not out of skill or anything, but I got out. So now I'm looking to get back in. I'm looking to get back in around that 15K all the way down to 11K level. And we'll see where that goes. So that's really all I had for altcoins. I'm not really interested in much else. There's some movement on Ethereum on the Bitcoin pair. So the Bitcoin pair looks good. It looks like we've had a nice healthy bounce here. And then the Ethereum USD pair obviously looking good as well. I bought some Ethereum finally. I mentioned in the last video that I was going to buy some. I didn't buy some that week. I bought some while I was out on vacation. Thankfully, I think I bought around 165, so we're at 181. I'm sitting pretty with that. I believe we are performing. Yes, we are performing better than Bitcoin, even if we check the Bitcoin pair here. So we have had some nice reactions here. So Ethereum looking good right now, but I think there's a little bit more life in this, probably a little bit more life in this push up. So I'm interested to see maybe we reach 200, around the $200 is probably when I would start thinking about selling. Obviously, it's a very risky proposition to be in altcoins right now, and certainly with all the bleeding that altcoins have done. I mean, you look at something even as simple as Holochain, right? This was just a tragic buy that I had over here, and I had to sell. So I bought at 14 sats. I had to sell at something like 12 sat, or it was either 13, one over or one under. I either sold it at 13 or I sold it at 15. So not really any kind of movement there as far as the account is concerned. But yeah, I bought at 14, and we're seeing now we're at 50% of that price. So we're seeing all of this across the board, bloodshed in the alts. So the bloodshed is going to keep continuing, guys. Sorry. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And so buying an asset like Ethereum is a very risky proposition because you don't know exactly what's going to happen, especially with the relatively bearish short-term bias that I have. So that's really all there is about altcoins. I would be very careful with scaling into things right now. Prices are good. They can always get better. That's how it is in altcoin bear land. So as far as the channel is concerned, you guys were watching a lot of these videos that I recorded a while ago. I hope you guys don't mind that. A lot of the videos obviously are evergreen content, so it really doesn't matter when I release them. But I think what we're going to do now is we're going to change the layout of the channel in terms of scheduling. So I've noticed that a lot of the Blackstone Speaks are not getting that much engagement, whereas the altcoin reviews are getting really good engagement. You guys love watching those videos, as well as the Blackstone Speaks, and the Market Watches are getting decent engagement. So I think what we're going to do now is every Monday we're still going to stick to our Market Watch segment, and every Friday I'm going to continue sticking to an altcoin review. The altcoin review for this week is going to be Chainlink, guys, so look forward to that one. But yeah, we're going to do Chainlink this week. We're going to do another altcoin next week. It's going to be Ripple, guys. Spoiler, it's Ripple. Get ready for that one. That video is going to be interesting. So we're doing Ripple, and every Friday we're going to do one altcoin analysis video. So every week you're going to get my take on a video. And then every Wednesday, I may do a video, I may not. It depends. The video might be something like a Blackstone special feature. I'm currently working on my next one, so we're going to get Blackstone special feature number 2. You guys loved the first one. I'm working on the second one. That one's going to come maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see. Depends what my schedule is. I'm traveling around a lot. But other than that, I do have other Blackstone Speaks ready to go. Those will maybe come out whenever they come out. Maybe they'll come out on a Wednesday. Maybe they'll come out on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Who knows? But we will be sticking to the schedule of every Monday, we will have a market watch. Every Friday, we will have an altcoin analysis. And then aside from that, I will just be bringing you guys more content on Wednesdays of the content that you guys like and love. So more Blackstone special features, less of the Blackstone Speaks that looks to be a little bit niche content, perhaps for most. So that's all I have for this week. I will be back next week. I will be going to Singapore. Going to Singapore for business. I'm not actually going for consensus or anything like that. So sorry. Don't hit me up on on the DMs asking me to see you at consensus, because I'm not going to be there. I'm actually going to be back on the 11th that day. But that is where I'm going to be for the next few days, and then I'll be back, and then I will be creating more. So I'll be here for the next Monday for the next Market Watch segment, so you guys aren't going to miss a beat there. And then obviously just going to be working on the next bits of content for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys next time. This video was sponsored by Cryptowatch. Are you a crypto degen? Do you spend countless hours in front of your PC babysitting your leverage trades? Well, babysit no longer. With Cryptowatch, you can spend countless hours in the comforts of your own bed, waiting for those SMS alerts. Track how wrecked your portfolio is that week with their portfolio tracker. And you can also check the price of your favorite shitcoins. If you'd like to join Cryptowatch, there's a link in the description below. Happy trading!